Now, next hypothesis is planetesimal hypothesis of Chamberlain and Moulton, okay? Because it was formulated by two persons, Thomas Chamberlain, an American geologist, and Forrest Ray Moulton, an American astronomer, in 1904. Now, in the previous video, we studied Kant hypothesis and Laplace hypothesis. These hypothesis was based on a concept, monistic concept, or on one parent, that is monoparental also we call, because they assumed only one nebula was there, that is one parent. So from one parent, from nebula, whole solar system was formed. That is why it is called monistic concept or monoparental. All right. So the whole system, both of them were criticized because of their wrong concept, which you already know that. So to rectify or to correct them, Thomas Chamberlain and Forrest Ray Moulton talked about dualistic concept. Dualistic means two parent. Means the solar system was formed because of the two parents. Now let's see who were these two parents. There were two objects in the universe, and from there the whole solar system was formed. The two objects was the proto-sun. One was proto-sun. Proto means the earlier sun, the sun which was already there. And there was another star or the sun which is known as intruding star, or we also call it as a companion star. So the proto-sun was stationary and there was no angular momentum, which I'll explain you afterwards what is angular momentum. All right. Whereas you had your intruding star or a companion star moving in a vast universe, moving in an infinite universe, moving here and there. Okay. So when it was moving, at one time it happened to come nearby the proto-sun. So if you see the mass of the proto-sun and compare the mass with the intruding star, the mass of the intruding star is much bigger as compared to that of a proto-sun. And whichever object has more mass means their gravitational pull is also more, that you know. All right. So when the intruding star happened to cross the way near the proto-sun, because of the gravitational pull of the intruding sun, okay, many particles got detached from the proto-sun. Many particles, the bigger particles as well as the smaller particles, infinite number of particles got detached from the proto-sun. And these smaller particles, Thomas Chamberlain and Forrest Ray Moulton, instead of calling them particles, they call it as planetesimal. Planetesimal. And these planetesimals are the building blocks of the planets. Now, these bigger particles, since the bigger particles had more gravitational force, the smaller particles from here got attracted. It got attracted, and in a course of a time 9 planets were formed. How many? 9 planets were formed. And as the 9 planets were formed, due to the gravitational force of the proto-sun, they start moving around the sun. This is how. Okay, moving around the sun, and the parts which was left behind, that means particles were detached, and the part which was not detached was left behind, and that formed the sun. So you had the sun and the 9 planets. That is according to whom? That is according to Thomas Chamberlain and Forrest Ray Moulton. So how many the dual concept meaning you have two parents, that is a proto-sun and the intruding star. All right. So criticize. Now again, as your Kant and Laplace was criticized, in the same way Thomas Chamberlain and the Forrest Ray Moulton was also criticized. Now, what was the main criticism? 9 planets. Why 9 planets? Why not less? Why not more than 9 planets? Why? What is the reason of having the fixed 9 planets? So they could not explain regarding this. So they were criticized on this ground. Okay. Second one is angular momentum. Mass, if the mass is more, then the angular momentum is also more. That is according to physics. All right. So mass is more than the planet. If the mass is more, okay, so sun should be having more angular momentum because the sun is much bigger as compared to the planet. Okay, but the planets have more angle. Okay, mass more, angular momentum more, mass less, angular momentum less. So the sun has more mass, angular momentum has to be more. Planets are lesser in size or smaller in size as compared to that of your as compared to that of the sun, meaning the angular momentum must also be small. Yes, okay, but the sun was not in motion, so there was no angular momentum. Sun was not in motion. Okay, so there was no angular momentum. Planet has more angular momentum. The sun should be having more angular momentum. Okay, but the sun does not have any angular momentum because it was stationary. Whereas planets, over here, planets have more angular momentum. Why this? Sun would be rotating. Yes or no? Sun would be rotating because they have more angular momentum. But planets would have been rest. But this is not the case. It is just the opposite. Sun is at the rest, but the planets are moving very fast. Okay, this thing could not be explained by Thomas Chamberlain and Forrester Moulton. Third one is planetesimal were small, some big. Okay, planets would be of different shape, but it is of cigar shapes. Cigar meaning small, big, then again small, small, small. So this is what we call the cigar shaped. All right, but according to them, planetesimal was small, some were big. Okay, they would have been of different shape. Small, some big, some small, big. This would have been in the shape, but this is not the case. It is of the cigar shaped. Okay, this thing was also could not be explained by Thomas Chamberlain. Why they are in a cigar shaped? Why not having different shapes? Okay. The fourth one is universe is infinite. Intruding star would have been rotating, would have been revolving somewhere else. Why? Okay. How the companion star came near the protosun, it could have gone far away from there without coming near the protosun. Okay. But this is also not possible. Okay. So this thing was also could not be explained by Thomas Chamberlain and Forrester Moulton. So children, I have done three theories. That is the Kant mass hypothesis. Then we have the Laplace hypothesis, and the third one we have done is the planetesimal hypothesis. And please go through it in detail. All right. Thank you so much.